Akron and Northern Illinois. We've got Northern Illinois 15-point home favorites, 46 the total. Not a Northern Illinois spot, obviously, considering they're off the big win against Western Michigan last week. We'll see how they fare here. Now back home, laying double digits. Last time they laid double digits, they almost lost the damn game. 25-23 at Ball State. They were laying 13.5. They barely won that game. Or actually, they lost it outright, I should say, 25-23. They lost that game outright as 13.5-point road favorites at Ball State. They were a big, 16-point favorite against UMass. They won by 14. You catch my drift. I mean, here's another team where they haven't been great in this double-digit favorite role. Buffalo at home, 13-point favorites after the big Notre Dame win early in the season. They lost outright. So Northern Illinois has had these flat spots and these spots where they were off a big win like last week at Western Michigan. Then they come back as double-digit chalk the next week, and they're not very good. So I'm leaning Akron here, plus the points. But Akron's been, you talk about variance and you talk about erratic behavior. Boy, we've seen that this season from Akron. No question about that. They lose 41-30 to Buffalo by 11. They do beat Eastern Michigan the week before. They lose by 10 at Western Michigan. They lose by 7, though, against a good Bowling Green team. They've been a scrappy bunch. Since getting blown out at Ohio, the last 4 conference games, they've lost all 3 of the 3 losses were by 11 points or less. For this Akron team. So I'm very interested in the Zips here in this spot, catching points. I certainly commend Joe Moorhead for doing everything he can with this group. There's not a lot of talent here. It's hard to recruit. They've been a dumpster program in this conference for a while. But one thing I see Joe Moorhead get from this team week in and week out is effort, compete. And maybe compete and effort's going to be good enough to get them inside the number here against a Northern Illinois team that after big wins and laying double digits the next week, they've faltered. They have really faltered badly in these spots. Hopefully, we can get a good performance here in this game for Ben Finley, the quarterback, who has been, some good, some bad from him this season. But I will say this, the overall numbers coming into this game, he's got to cut down on the interceptions, 12 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 58% completions. But again, this Akron defense, despite not being that great, they do battle. And hopefully a battle level and, get some key stops, maybe force some turnovers can be enough to help Akron stay inside this big number. Because I'll tell you one thing, this has been a very noticeable performance pattern for me with Northern Illinois of being unable to be trusted in this kind of a price range, especially after the big wins that they've had. What do you think here, C-Mac? Akron, Northern Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 games didn't cover. I had Buffalo. They pushed or lost, depending it was 14 against UMass, and then Ball State. Then they get the big win. Like if Hampton's gonna go, because that's all they're gonna ask from. They're gonna run the ball down the throat here of Akron. They'll have plenty of success doing that. It's just like
that the run defense gets worn down and they get a late score and they cover. But that's the concern. It is a matchup concern. Akron does not have a good run defense. It's the strength of Northern Illinois running the ball.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just saying with Hampton too, because they want to run it. But I mean, he goes 13-16. Like that's all they ask. Did he have 1 or 2 touchdowns? Just 1, but that's all they want from him. I just keep going back. Like Akron's not Kent State. This team's a little bit better. This team's been feisty. This team's been in games. But man, I mean, at home they played better. Even at Western Michigan, or at Ohio. I know they lost by 20, but that was a little bit early on in the year. I think they can have some success too. I mean, how up is Northern Illinois going to be? This one thing is they'll run at the success and they have the better defense. But is Northern Illinois going to light the board? That's the key. Like if they shut it down, can they win by 21? Yeah. But I agree with you. I lean to the dog or nothing. Just another team in Akron that we've talked about 3 times already. Shitty on the road, But they don't need to win here. Just need to cover. That's what we're talking about. 15.5.
But the counter to that, you're right. Akron shitty on the road, but the counter to that, though, for Northern Illinois is as a double-digit favorite or double-digit favorite period, pretty shitty as well. So
yeah,
we'll see how that one plays out on Wednesday night with Akron and NIU.